All right, let's talk about finding the best tax deductions for your business so you can keep more money in your pocket and not overpay to this guy. Having owned multiple franchise businesses, a landscaping company, a clothing line, an online brand, I've had to learn the hard way about some of the small business write-offs and tax deductions that you can use to really benefit and make sure you're not overpaying in tax and put some of that hard-earned money back in your pocket. Now, a lot of it depends on what type of business that you own, and that will depend on what tax write-offs are actually best for your business. So if you're thinking about starting a new business, or you already own a business or a little side hustle, and you're just trying to maximize and make sure that you can keep as much of your hard-earned money, then this video is for you, and let's jump in. Welcome. If you're new here, my name is Tariq Johnson. Yes, pronounced Tariq. Interesting name, I know. My entrepreneurial journey started out at 18 years old when I started a landscaping company. I was working at Ace Hardware, making $6 an hour. The cool thing was I wound up landing like a $4,000 commercial job and wind up doing residential jobs. And I learned a lot pretty quickly about tax write-offs and tax deductions and being able to save your money because Uncle Sam will really come for it. Now, fast forward almost 15 years later, I've owned multiple franchise businesses in different states in California and Florida. They're 2,500 miles away as I own them. And then I also started a clothing line that flopped. Well, it didn't flop. I just kind of gave up. That was 10 years ago now, which is crazy. So my point being is that, a lot of your tax write-offs and tax deductions for your business depend on what kind of business you have. And so I had a lot of fun in figuring out what to say for this video and how to provide you the most value because at this point, I've owned a landscaping company, I've owned physical retail businesses in different states, in Florida and California. There are different laws in those states. I've owned a clothing line. Now I have an online brand and a YouTube channel. And so I'm excited to share all of these tips with you. So I wanted to share with you what I've learned. And my style of video is that I like to give straightforward, direct advice, cut through all of the noise. So you're not gonna see all sorts of crazy bells and whistles from me here. You're just gonna get really good, straightforward value that you can use and start implementing right away in your business. And so if you like that style of video, then I encourage you to subscribe because I have a lot of videos on owning businesses and succeeding as an entrepreneur. And I'm also going to share with you what I've learned in the past and what I will continue to learn as I continue to grow and evolve my businesses and go along this journey. So come on with me for the ride. As of the making of this video, we're about 2,700 subscribers. I'm really about 6 months into making videos very seriously, and I'm really excited to see where this takes off, and I hope that you get the value that you're looking for in this video. Now, the first piece of value that I want to give you is a disclaimer. I am not a licensed tax advisor or tax professional. Although the tips and strategies that I'm going to share with you are very tangible strategies that I've used in my business, mistakes that I've learned, the reality is when it comes to your business, you gotta always seek expert advice from experts who can give you advice for your specific situation. Everything that I'm going to share with you today is generalized advice because I don't know you individually or your specific business or your financial situation and the way that it works. So always the best way for you to get the best advice with legal and tax is to consult your own tax advisor and attorney. And then before we jump into the meat of this video, over 1,000 people have already downloaded my free 7-step blueprint to business profits in 60 days. You can see it here. It's a 28-page PDF that shows you exactly how you can create a profitable business in any industry at any time. I've done it now with multiple businesses and it really works. So Go to my website and grab it, tariqjohnson.com. I'll leave a link in the description below. So the first question to ask is like, what can I deduct? And according to the IRS website, to be deductible, a business expense must be both ordinary and necessary. Well, what does that even mean? Well, an ordinary expense, that is one that is most common and accepted in your business. And a necessary expense is one that's helpful and most appropriate for your business. So here's the first part of this, is that with tax law and write-offs, there can be some gray area on things. Again, this is where you want to consult your tax advisor, but there are some things that are pretty clear and cut and dry, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video. So first, here are 3 important points to lay as the foundation for understanding what the tax write-off and small business deductions are for your business. And it's really important that you nail these things down, because if you make this mistake, it could wind up costing you and either not allowing you to actually write off expenses that you should be able to write off in your business, or make it really difficult to be able to track it. So the first thing is create an entity for your business. Now look, if you're serious about your business, and maybe this is the most basic form of advice, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but you need to have an entity. Whether that's an LLC or an S Corp or a C Corp, that is something that an attorney or a tax advisor has to tell you. I can tell you that all of my businesses have been LLCs, but depending upon the state you live in, the type of business that you have, and the way you plan on structuring your business depends on which entity will make the most sense for you. Now, I know that legal advice can be like really expensive. I mean, they can be kind of robbing you blind. There are some really affordable legal advice services. One is a company called Legal Shield, and I'll leave a link in the description below. For as little as $49 a month, they have a small business service where you can have unlimited conversations with attorneys and get advice and insight based on your specific situation. I personally have the membership. My wife has it. It's been very helpful for our business. So check the link down below and sign up if you need to be able to have that resource for your business. Number 2 is separate your business and personal expenses. Again, this is another foundational item that might seem obvious, but you would not believe how many business owners I've talked to and heard from. And in the beginning part of my career, I started out in banking, and I used to have small business owners as clients. Don't commingle your expenses. When you commingle your expenses, 1, it will decrease your odds and ability to be able to prove that it was actually for your business, which could create a problem, and then you can get audited. You don't want to get audited by the IRS, especially for your business. Number 2 is once you actually have someone doing your books, like a bookkeeper or an accountant, it makes their life harder. And if it makes their life harder and they have to spend more time on it, then guess what happens? They're going to charge you more money. In your business, you want to keep your expenses as low as possible so that you can profit and keep as much money as possible. And by not commingling your personal and business expenses, it's going to help. So what does that mean? You need to open up a small business account. There are many banks and financial institutions that have free business checking accounts. Some of them come with certain stipulations, but open a business account that's specifically in your business's name. Get a business credit card that is specifically in your business so that you can track your write-offs and deductions for your business all through your business account. And then number 3, the last foundational item before we jump into the actual tax deductions and write-offs that you can use for your business to save you money, is to hire a bookkeeper. Hire a bookkeeper or an accountant. This is one of the major mistakes that I made in the beginning. I'll just be honest and tell you that. So first, a bookkeeper is a lot cheaper and more affordable than you think, okay? So I have 3 different businesses, and after opening up my first franchise business, while I had a full-time job, for some reason I decided that I was going to do my own profit and loss statements. And that was a stupid move. It just was not a smart decision, but I did it. And I spent hours and hours and hours going through bank statements and trying to reconcile stuff. And just talking about it, quite honestly, brings up a sense of anxiety and frustration. You can hire a bookkeeper for, let's just say I went up hiring someone for $189 a month. And that was because our business was doing over $40,000 a month in sales, and we had a significant amount of expenses, so the pricing was tiered based on the sales and expenses of the business. So if you got a business where you're doing $5,000 or $10,000 a month or a couple $1,000s a month, you might be able to hire someone for as cheap as $50 or $60 or $70 a month. And imagine, think about the hours that saves you in your business and what your hourly rate is, or the amount of time that you could spend growing or building your business. So please do not do your own bookkeeping or accounting. And the way to be able to truly maximize your write-offs is to have clean books. All right, so first I'm gonna tell you about what I think is the most important write-off or investment that you can make in your business. And this is really, really key. And then I'm gonna go through and list all of the other business write-offs and tax deductions that you can utilize. So number one is business coaching. So business coaching is very interesting. So you can hire a coach to help you with your business and shortcut the process for you, and you get to write it off. I mean, think about, as an example, if you had been able to write off your education for school. Like, think about your college degree. If you were able to write that off, how exciting that could be. And I mean, college is very, very expensive. So I'm a huge believer in business coaching. Recently, when I sold one of my franchise locations, I realized that I needed to pivot and I wanted to create an online brand and a new business. And I had some ideas and was taking a little bit of steps, but I really did not start gaining any real traction until I hired a business coach. And the great thing is that it was all a write-off because you're educating yourself in your business. So depending upon what your business is, if you're buying courses, if you're buying books, if you're buying educational material, so the odds are that you can actually write that off in your business. So this is the last point I'll make about a business coach, and then we'll start going down the list of all the other different business expenses. But I want you to think about this and imagine this for a second. You're in the woods and you're walking in the woods and you can't figure out how to get back to the trail and the path in order to get out. And so you're going through trees and you're going through bushes and pushing through sticks and all these different things, and you're lost and you're feeling confused and frustrated and angry, and now you're actually starting to get a little bit scared because it's getting dark out and you might have heard a bear or a wolf or something. Then all of a sudden a ladder drops down from the sky and there's a helicopter. You can see the helicopter and you climb up the ladder and you get in the helicopter and you're like, you feel this sense of relief. And when you look down, you realize, oh wow, the path was actually only about 50 feet away. I was so close. And so I use that analogy because I want you to think that your business coach that you hire and invest in for your business is actually like the pilot in the helicopter, except the pilot has a radio and you have a radio, and the pilot's telling you, hey, take 10 steps to the right and then go straight, and then you're gonna go past that bush, then you're gonna go another 10 feet to the right, then there's a little bank, you're gonna hop down that little bank, and then the path is gonna be 25 feet on your right. And I think based on the video, right, left, I don't know which one it is based on the way that the camera records. So that's what it's like hiring a business coach. They're able to see what your challenge is and help guide you and direct you. All right, now let's talk about some of the other expenses. So this one is a really, really big one. These are a couple of expenses that are 100% deductible in your business. Number one is health insurance. Wow, health insurance is a major, major expense. If you're a full-time entrepreneur and you don't have health benefits from an employer, wow, you're probably paying a lot of money. Health insurance these days are very, very expensive. And so knowing that you can write it off or that it's a tax deduction, one, can impact the type or quality of the health insurance that you buy. Two, it can make a massive difference for you and your family. And so, like, I recently made the leap from employee to full-time entrepreneur, and I'm going to be losing my health benefits. And so with me, my wife, and our 2-year-old son, we're going to be paying over $1,300 a month for our health insurance. Yikes, that is a lot of money. And if it wasn't for the fact that we get to write that business expense off, I might feel a little bit more frustrated about it. But given that we have a growing and thriving business that's profitable, it makes me feel a lot better to know that I'm actually able to deduct my health insurance costs. So something to look into, and make sure that you work with someone within the health insurance field that is used to working with small business owners. And if you aren't yet full-time in your business and you have a side hustle, you're doing something part-time, or just planning your journey to be an entrepreneur, it's something to think about as you consider going full-time in your business. Or if you work for an employer who doesn't pay for your health insurance and you are paying for it, now you know that you could talk to your tax person about writing it off. All right, office equipment and furniture. Nowadays, we live in a world filled with technology, right? And so there are probably expenses and things that you're buying that you might be able to run under your business as long as you use it for your business and you're honest about that. So as an example, like here, as I'm recording and talking into the camera. I was able to buy that through one of my businesses. I have various lights here set up for my businesses. This plant, this is for the office. It's a fake plant, as you can probably tell. This is a business write-off. So there's all sorts of things. What else? My cell phone. Now this is not 100% tax deductible because I use it for my personal use as well, but I'm able to write off a percentage of my phone. My laptop, right? So I have my laptop right here. This was a few $1,000s, and I was able to write that off. So you can write off technology, you can write off equipment, furniture for your business. So it's really important though that you make sure you're being honest and that these items are actually for your business. Next, business travel. So you can write off business travel. It's 100% deductible. So if you are flying out, let's say for a conference, because you're going to go learn something about your business, or you're going to go meet a client, or you're going to go entertain a client, whatever it is that you're going to do, your flight, your car rental, your hotel, all of those things become tax deductible. So a really great strategy for you to be able to improve your lifestyle is you go for a business trip and then, maybe you go have some fun while you're on your business trip, right? And you pair those things up because you're going there for work and you're going there for business, and then you're able to leverage it. Again, consult your tax advisor on making sure that you're doing that in a legal and ethical way. But it's a way that you could potentially help increase your lifestyle while also getting to write things off. So gifts to employees and clients. I mean, this is a really interesting one. From if you have employees in your business, or you have people that you pay as, under like a 1099 or freelance, like, are there things that you can do for them? Maybe you buy them a $20 Starbucks gift card because you appreciate the work that you did. And that helps to increase their appreciation and gratitude and your relationship and connection with them, and helps you to retain them as someone who you work with. And you're able to write that off. Or you had a client that just signed on with you and you decide to send them a card or brownies or a gift card, and you're able to write that off as well. Next one is business utilities and phone bills. So if you have something set up for your business phone, or again, I pulled out my cell phone, if you're using your cell phone to text clients or to talk to clients or anything like that, then you can write off a percentage of it. If it's not used completely for your business, technically you're not allowed to write off 100% of the expense. So here's some interesting ones where I'm just going to go down the list of these items. One is child or dependent care. Talk to your tax advisor about this, but child and dependent care, if you're an entrepreneur and a business owner, is something that you could potentially write off, and that's huge. I mean, we have a 2-year-old son, and wow, the cost of childcare is so expensive these days. And so being able to write that off could be a game changer for your business. Another thing that could be written off is local or state taxes paid. So if you're in a state where you have to pay taxes for your business, you might be able to write those off, and that could be huge, because when you can write off an expense that you have to pay, like taxes, because I mean, really, who likes paying taxes? Well, that's the whole point why you're watching this video, right? To be able to reduce your tax liability and be able to benefit from deductions. Well, state and local taxes can potentially become a write-off. Federal taxes are never a write-off, so that's something important to know. Depreciation. So depreciation is something that's very interesting that can save you money on your tax situation, which is if you have own things that have a value to it, right? So you own furniture that you bought and it has a value, you can depreciate the value over time and it can help reduce your tax liability. This can start to get complex depending upon how many assets and things that you have. So definitely something that you want to talk to and work on the strategy with your tax advisor to make sure that you're both taking advantage of it and you have a good system in place so that you can make sure that you benefit from the depreciation that you should be receiving. So a couple other ones here is interest paid on loans. So if you have any loans for your business, you get to write off the interest on those loans. So that's a very interesting thing to know if you're trying to look and grow and expand, or depending upon what type of business that you have. Now, last but not least is retirement accounts. So there are specific retirement accounts for business owners and people that are self-employed, where you get access to things like SEP IRAs, simple IRAs, solo 401ks. Now, I'm not going to dive into that in this video. And actually, if you want me to make a video about the different types of retirement plans for business owners and how they work and the pros and cons and comparing them, drop me a comment and let me know below. I've actually had my investment licenses for 15 years. I used to do nothing but advise people on retirement plans and investing advice, and that's really been the bulk of my career. So I'd love to make a video on that. So drop me a comment below and let me know if you'd like me to. But there are different plans, and depending upon your business, it'll vary on how much you can contribute to those retirement plans. But as a quick example, let's say you have a retirement plan that will allow you to put $20,000 into your retirement plan and your business made $200,000. Well, now you're only going to get taxed on $180,000 as opposed to $200,000. And now you've got money saved away for retirement that's growing. So that's something really exciting to think about. Now, although you get the deduction up front, at some point down the line, you will have to pay taxes on that money if you're deferring them. Again, that's a whole nother video for a whole nother time. Now, here's something really important to know that I want to share with you as you're thinking about tax deductions and write-offs for your business, is that you have to be careful what you write off. Here's why. Because if on paper, you're writing off all these different things that you're eligible and allowed to be able to write off, and on paper on your tax return, you're barely making any money, or on your profit and loss statement, you're barely making any money, and let's say you want to go buy a house, and you go to buy a house, and they go, well, on paper, you're only making 40 grand a year. And you're like, I feel like I'm making more than 40 grand a year. But because of depreciation and all these different things and write-offs that you have in your business, the bank is going to base how much your loan you can qualify on based on how much money you're making on paper. I will tell you, this is a major, major issue for people. It's something that you really have to be aware of. And it'll impact you too if you're ever trying to get a business loan for your business. Again, if you're not making money on paper, then that can negatively affect your ability to be able to qualify for any sort of financing, no matter what it is. So I can't elaborate enough that this is such an important point. It's so, so important. And so make sure to strategize with your tax advisor and any of your trusted experts around your finances to really game plan and figure out how you can make sure to maximize your write-offs, but also show enough income so that if you do have plans to buy a house, or if you do have plans to buy a car or get a business loan or buy an investment property, that you're making sure that your write-offs and your tax deductions for your business aren't making you broke on paper where you're not actually able to qualify for a loan. So guys, if you haven't already, please make sure to go grab my 7-step blueprint to business profits in 60 days. Again, the link is in the description below, or you can just go to tariqjohnson.com. If you got any value out of this video, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and I will look forward to seeing you on the next one.